Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey and today this is the necklace that I will be making and I am super excited with how it came out. I absolutely love fall colors. The fall color palette is just right up my alley and I love the way that this turned out. Most of the components used to make this necklace came from the bargain bead box for the month of October 2022. And if you are interested in the bargain bead box, I will have all of the information in the description box below. If you go check it out, I encourage you to use my code. That code is Casey2, Casey2. That will give you $2 off your first month's subscription or $2 off your first order from their website. So if you are curious to see how this necklace came about, then stay tuned. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to start off with the tools that I'm using. I have 2 sets of chain nose pliers. I have 1 set of cutters, and I have 1 set of crimping pliers. And I'm going to briefly mention my tool set. I absolutely love this tool set, and I mention it a lot because I just really highly recommend it. It is the Casual Comfort tool set, and as the name suggests, they are very, very comfortable to use. They are high quality and very well made. I just can't stop recommending these because I use them all the time and I absolutely love them. A lot of times you'll see in the store that tools are a little bit smaller for whatever reason. And I know these function and a lot of people use them, but ever since I found this set of tools and saw that it was made for adult size hands, I got super excited and I just can't stop telling people about them. And of course, even if you don't get this set of tools, I just recommend investing in your tools. If you make jewelry a lot, it can be just a game changer. So I'll have these linked below along with everything else I use in the video that did not come from the bead box. I absolutely love the fall colors for this month. It's just my favorite color palette. I absolutely love it. So the big focal pendant, the owl pendant that came in the box, that's going to be the big centerpiece of this necklace. And one thing about bargain bead box with their pendants, a lot of times I've used several of them and I just keep them as they are because they come with so much detail that I just think they really stand alone. And I love this wrapped vine looking aesthetic that this pendant has. It's so nice. So this will be the pendant and I am genuinely not doing anything to it. I think the way it looks is amazing. Now I am going to use one of the little owl charms. This necklace will have a 2-inch extender chain on the back and I'm going to add this charm to the back of it. I will also be using the spacer beads, the oak leaf spacer beads that came in the box. And I'm using 1 each of each one of these beads for the strand that I am making. I just absolutely I love the twist of the longer bead there. I love how that looks, that twist right there. Then we have the lightly faceted round, the carnelian round, and then of course the faceted crystal right here with the matte bands, the almost frosted glass bands around it. And then of course these 10mm tiger eye beads. These are just awesome. So I'm going to use 1 each of these for the strand that I am making. Again, this color palette, this fall color palette is just something that I absolutely love. And then for my own stash, I'm going to use these hammer textured O-rings. Also from the box, I am using the chain that came in the box, and I have 2 lengths of chain. That's 5.5 inches. And then I have 1 2-inch length of chain. That's going to be the extender. And then of course from my own stash, I have this flower bead cap and this leaf bead cap. And then of course all the findings, the jump rings, wire guardians, crimp covers, crimp tubes, and the clasp, the lobster clasp. And I'm also using 49 strand bead along wire in the color Bright, which is this silver color. and I always get 100 feet because I go through it so quickly. And I know you can say, you're probably thinking that the wire is in the color silver and I have all of this antique bronze metal, but you'll see at the end, you won't even notice that the wire underneath the strands is silver. All right, so that is everything that I am using. Let's get started. All right, so I have cut a piece of wire. It's approximately 11 inches long. I like to give myself room on either side to, of course, open it and close it. So here is how I start. I'm going to put on a crimp tube, a jump ring, and a wire guardian. Put it through one side, then wrap it around and put it through the other. You want to make sure that jump ring is up in the center of the wire guardian. And I'm going to pinch that closed with my fingers. And I'm going to make sure both ends of the wire go through that crimp tube. All right. And my tail is a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that. Okay. So now I want to keep the wires separated. I know this part can be difficult to see because the parts are so small, but I'm going to keep those wires separated and pull on that longer one to make it snug. So I have it just like that. Now I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second groove and then give it a good smash. And that gets that taco shape. I'm going to turn it on its side, go into that first groove, give it another smash, and then I'm going to go with that flat part at the end and give it the final smash. I like it to be nice and snug. Now I'm going to take that crimp cover, place it right on top of that smashed crimp tube, and then flip it up. I'm going to go in with my chain nose pliers, give it a gentle smash. I'm going to go front to back to give it that round shape. All right, and that is how we start each strand. And that crimp cover gives the illusion of the first bead. So now it's just the order of the beads. I have a multi-strand necklace in mind. At the bottom, I'm gonna have one of my 3mm rounds. And this bead is small, so before I put any other beads on there, I'm gonna go ahead and tuck in that tail, just like that. And now I'm gonna use my leaf bead cap facing up, my tiger eye bead, and a leaf bead cap facing down, just like that. Now every other bead, I'm going to be using these 3mm rounds. And then I'm gonna use the spacer and then the 3mm round. All right, so I'm going to use each one of these beads in turn, just like this, with the spacer in between like this. All right, so I will put these in order and then we will meet back up. All right, so here is the order. And like I said, I'm using one each of the beads in between. Of course, I have a bead cap on either side of all of them except for this one. And then in between each one, I have the 3mm round and the leaf. So there is the final. All right, so now we're gonna close it off. All right, so I'm gonna put on a crimp tube, a jump ring, and a wire guardian. Put it through one side, wrap around through the other. All right. And then you wanna make sure the jump ring is inside the wire guardian. I'm gonna pinch it closed with my fingers. All right, I'm gonna pull this down a little bit. All right, so now I wanna make sure this goes through the first bead. And then I'm gonna hang onto that jump ring and pull it through. So here's where you wanna have a nice balance because you want to make sure that you pull it snug. However, you definitely want your piece to have some flexibility. So there's gotta be a nice balance. So I'm holding it out the side and then I'm gonna go in with my crimping pliers into that second groove, give it a smash, get that taco shape, turn it on its side, go into that first groove, and then use that flat part on the end. And then it looks nice and snug. Then I'm gonna take that crimp cover, put it right over that smashed crimp tube, then flip it up, go in with my chain nose pliers, give it a gentle smash. Then I'm gonna go front to back, Make sure it has that round shape. Then I'm going to go in as close as I can with my cutters. And then I want to go in there and use my nail to kind of push that tail into the next bead. And there we have it. There is the finished part of the strand. My plan is to have this connect to the pendant. So what we need is one more just like this. All right, so you would have to create this exact thing one more time. So we will meet back up when we have the second one. All right, so here we go. And as you can see, they are identical pieces. The beads are in the same order, created the same way. So I have already made that second strand, and the method to make it is the exact same as to make this one, where the start and the starting it off and the closing it off is the same way. Past that, it's just the order of the beads. So here is that secondary strand. I used 2 pearls of my own out of my own stash. So I used a 4mm pearl right there, brown, and I have a 4mm pearl at the end. Everything else came from the box. It's basically this unit right here repeated 3 times. Centered on this bead right here, I have the 3mm round in between each one, the oak leaf and the carnelian beads heat treated that came in the box. And then this is repeated 3 times. So here's the second one, and then here's the third one. And of course it ends with that pearl. So here is that secondary strand. So now it's just a matter of putting everything together. So first thing, I'm going to connect everything to the pendant. Open that jump ring, put it on the pendant, close that jump ring. All right, and do the same thing for the other. All right, so now we have the bottom strand hooked onto the pendant, and now we're going to connect each strand to the O-ring. Open that jump ring, place it on that hammered ring. Then I'm going to take that shorter strand, open that jump ring, and place it on that hammered O-ring. All right, just like that. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side. So now we're going to be adding the chains to each side. Get one of the jump rings, open it, put it on the last link in one of the chains, and of course place it on the O-ring. All right, do that same thing to the other side. All right, so now on one side we're going to have the lobster clasp. So we have another jump ring. We're going to put the opposite last link on there, and then the lobster clasp, and then close that jump ring. Then we're going to take another jump ring. All right, and then once you have that last link on there, you can go ahead and add that 2-inch extender, and then close that jump ring. And then the last jump ring goes to the end of that 2-inch extender, and then you have that owl charm, and then close that jump ring. All right, so there's that 2-inch extender there at the end, and then we can close that off just like that. All right, so here's the final piece. So I will go ahead and set it up on my display so that we can see it better. All right, so here is the final piece, and I love the way that it came out. Let's zoom in. I said it during the opening video, if you like owls, then this was the bead box for you. For me, I love fall colors, so the color palette of these beads was definitely what was in it for me. I just love these fall colors. And of course, I have the 2-inch extender in the back with that cute little owl charm there at the end. And again, if you are interested in that bargain bead box, I will have the information in the description box below. The link that I have in the description box will take you straight to their website, And if you go check it out, definitely want to use my code that is KC2, KC2. And remember, I spell my name just a little unique. That's KASI2. That will get you $2 off your first month subscription box or $2 off your first order from their website. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so kind, and I would love to hear what you think about this necklace. And I appreciate each and every one of you, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.